Hello, welcome to the easy way to sell on eBay. My name is Danna Crawford, and it's my pleasure to share with you my experience about being an eBay seller. I've been selling on the site since 1997, and I make a living full-time on eBay. It is my livelihood. So you can learn more about me in my follow-up email. I'll have more information. I also am a consignment seller, so people bring items to me to sell for them. I'm a public speaker, and most importantly today, I'm a SCORE mentor. So I'm very proud to be a part of the SCORE program. It is a volunteer service, so I do squeeze it into my lifestyle. I do still work full-time. I'm one of the few mentors that are actually employed. But if I can't help you with your needs, your business, small business needs, I will definitely pass on your information to a fellow SCORE mentor. And that's what it's all about, helping people build their businesses and go the direction that they would like to go for their future. Excuse me. So thanks again for joining me. Enough about me. Let's just dig right in. It is actually November 2017, so we're almost into the new year. And right now is the best time for getting started to sell on eBay. It's a great way to not only get rid of a few things that you have laying around the house, but it's also an opportunity to make a few bucks. So turn those items into dollars. I'm very proud of my work, so please do not sell my presentation on eBay. I don't mind if you share it, just please give me credit for it. Now, I do not go into step-by-step how to join eBay or how to join PayPal because it's seriously easy. You're just going to go directly to ebay.com and follow the registration information, fill everything out, complete the details, and then you're going to go to paypal.com and do the same thing. It's not difficult. And the other great thing is I'm going to provide you with a phone number to call direct to eBay. So if you do struggle or have any issues, you can call them and they'll help you, assist you, walk you through it, no charge. And then also PayPal has a direct number, easy to locate on their website. Now, the most important part of being successful on eBay is research. So I always tell people, if you don't learn anything at all from me today, the most important thing about being successful on eBay is research. And let's just dig right in on some ways. Now, the reason, first of all, research is so important. As a consignment seller, I get all kinds of items, as you can imagine. I'm also what I call a treasure hunt seller. So people bring items to me from all over the place during their travels. And they'll say, oh, this is worth millions because it says in this collector's book that Elvis Presley is worth millions according to this record label book. Or they'll say, I saw it on the Antique Roadshow, it must be worth millions, or Storage Wars, or one of those other sites that propose it to be valuable. And then there's also appraisers. I had a gentleman call me just yesterday about an opal ring that was worth, he has an appraisal from the jeweler that says it's worth $50,000, and let's put it on eBay and make $50,000. And also they'll say, well, they saw it on Google, so it must be true. Now, the thing is, we have to go by the current market value on eBay. The current market value in this day and time on comparing eBay or the internet, taking a look at items that have sold. And it's kind of comparable to the housing market. The collectible market is no different. The online selling market is no different than the housing market, which you know that means the prices go up and down and around. So with that said, first of all, let's take a look. Every page on eBay, when you go to ebay.com, has a search bar at the top. And you can't miss it. It's at the top. You just type in a few words of an item that you're looking for. So just to give you a side note, I want to suggest that you do some shopping on eBay when you're brand new, because it'll give you an idea on how the flow works, and everything that you can think of, you can buy on eBay. Pretty much. I bought chapstick the other day, and I buy chapstick on a regular basis on eBay. I buy ink for my printer, I buy shipping supplies, I buy everything that I need, even socks. So whatever you're looking for, you just type it in the search bar and go do some shopping. Now, when we're doing our research, however, we're going to go to the right of the toolbar. You'll notice the word advanced. And when you see the word advanced, just click on it. And now it'll bring you to another page of search on eBay. And this is where you're just going to type in a few keywords in that bar. And then you're going to check box completed listings. That's the magic. Excuse me. So you click on completed listings, not sold. We're just doing a little bit of research, and we want to look at sold and unsold, because this is how you become knowledgeable about what's hot and what's not. Okay, and then you're going to click on search. And now, again, to recap, just for fun, I'm going to type in 3 words, Starbucks coffee mug. And you can do the same when you're doing your practice. Go ahead and type in Starbucks coffee mug, check box completed listings, and click on search. And off we go. Now, it'll bring up all of the items on the eBay website that have had those 3 words in the title, Starbucks coffee mug. And the first thing we notice is that there are 42,684 results for Starbucks coffee mug. Now that's a lot, right? We're not going to sit here and we're not going to look at every page of these listings, because we'll be here for years. So what we're going to do is we're going to adjust that sort bar. Now this is something that a lot of eBayers don't even realize that's on the site or what it's for. But when you click on that sort bar, a drop down will appear, and it'll actually let you readjust or reorganize all of your view. So we want to adjust that view to highest price first. So now it'll bring all of the higher end items to the top of the 42,684 listings. Quick side note, when you're shopping on eBay, you can also adjust that sort bar to lowest price first, so you can find the best deal on socks or chapstick. All right, so now we're researching, we're going to adjust it to highest price first. So now it's going to reorganize those 42,000 and bring the money to the top. So if it's in green, it means that it's sold. And if it's in red or black, it means that it did not sell. Now we can take a look at these 2 Starbucks mugs. The top one is a USA seller. They're top rated. You can learn by looking at what they had. So we first noticed they had 32 bids. And those bids, that means that they had an auction. And the bottom one, they had 31 bids. You can see the number right below the dollar sign. They had 31 bids, and they're from Portugal, so they're actually shipping it from their country. Now these are called Cityscape Starbucks series, and they actually still have some. I've run into them at Goodwill. I do run into them now and then. And my husband has one. He's from Belfast, Northern Ireland, and he has one from Belfast, but he won't part with it. But I keep threatening to sell it. But anyhow, if it's in red or black, then it means that it did not sell. And we want to follow success. We want to pay attention to the ones that were successful and the ones that were not, so that we want to be successful. We have increased our odds for success. Now you're also going to notice at the bottom of each, there's a little couple of words that say sell one like this or sell now. I just wanted to point that out because we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Now, the more that you research, the more that you'll learn. So you'll be surprised. You want to pay attention to what kind of words did they use in their title. Was it an auction or was it a buy it now? And did they have free shipping? These are the kinds of things that will help you be successful by learning from others. Now the bottom one is in black. That means that it did not sell. They had 200 reusable Starbucks cups, and I call that it's take it out for a spin. So he tested the waters. He tried to sell it at that price and it didn't work out. But it's okay because there's always a plan B, and he can try a different angle. Maybe an auction would be more successful, or he can lower the price, or he could add what's called a make an offer to that, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So there's some other strategies that he could try, or she could try. Now the top one, they sold theirs for $299.95, and it was a buy it now. It was not an auction. So I can't help to wonder if they would have ran an auction, would they have sold it for more money? So these are the kinds of things we're aware of. Now the bottom guy, he did not have free shipping. So did that also affect people from shopping? Whereas the top seller did have free shipping. So these are the little things. And then also those words in their title. What kind of words did they use? He had free ship in his title. I'm not so sure I would do that because people already know that. To me, that's a waste of space, because every word on your title is like bait on the hook. And I'm going to talk about that some more in a minute. Also, not only do you join eBay, but I know all of you probably have smartphones. So you want to download the smartphone app that's for eBay, and you can also download the app for PayPal. Now, after you download the app for eBay, when you go to the search bar on the eBay app, you'll notice that there's a place for you to scan a barcode, or the newest release from eBay is photo recognition, which means that you can actually take a picture of an item and then it'll search the database. Not everybody has that on their phones yet, so it's like a slow rollout from the site, but it won't be long, everybody will have it. So you might want to check your app and see if it's available. But right now, let's talk about the barcode. I was in Ross one day and I saw these dresses that were marked down to $9.99. So I grabbed my phone and pulled up the search bar on my eBay app and then held it up and scanned each barcode on the dresses. And I soon learned that, and I adjusted the filter to completed, or excuse me, when I'm shopping quickly and making a decision, I'm not listing, I'm switching it to sold on my phone because I want to get a quick idea. And then I can also sort to highest price first, so I can get a quick idea of what they've been selling for. And then I can adjust it to completed, and then also take a look at ones that didn't sell, and was it because there are too many on, or you know, what's the situation. But just by doing that simple research in Ross will help me decide whether to invest $9.99 in these dresses. And I actually did. I bought them all that day, and I've done really well with them. I sold them all but one. I think I bought 8 of them, and I sold all but one, and then I gave one to a granddaughter that lives in London. All right, now not only can you research on eBay, but eBay's free, of course, but eBay only goes back about 30 days in many categories. Now another site that I use is called WorthPoint, and if you go to researchisking.com, that'll take you directly to this area to put in the search bar a few words, and they'll give you a free trial of 7 days or 7 lookups. And just to look at items, they'll charge you $19.99 a month after your free trial. But I think you'll enjoy it, especially if you have a lot of stuff to research, because WorthPoint goes back 10 years in their history. And it pulls in data from not only eBay, but heritage auctions, all these big auction houses. And it's the perfect place to research fine art, collectibles. And then if you upgrade to the Marks and Library, then you have access to the complete site, which also has the tools for researching silver marks, special markings on plates, cups, china, dinnerware, all kinds of things you can imagine. There's a library for all these kinds of things. So, but not everybody needs that. So those are the options. Researchisking.com. Again, to recap, go to Advanced Search, type in a few keywords, checkbox completed listings or sold, click on Search, adjust your sort bar to the highest price first, and follow success. It's that simple. There's your research formula for success. You want to be successful, so you're going to do your research and follow success. All right, now let's talk about photos. Background is really important for your good photo presentation. And guess what? You don't need fancy equipment. You can get reasonable equipment. Now, I actually buy these trifold boards. My kid, I thought of this when my children were in the Catholic school, and they had to have all of these types of boards for science projects. And that's when I started doing eBay, and I was like, wow, these are great for eBay photos. So I started buying them, and you can get them at Hobby Lobby. I've even seen them at Walmart. And I recommend buying baby blue, black, and white, of course. Those are the basics. Or you can experiment with different colors. Now here's the magic. People don't realize when you take photos, you don't have to get real close. And when you get real close up to your photo and then upload it to eBay, it becomes blurred. So there's no need for that. You can stand back a little ways and take your picture. And then when you crop it, you cut it out and you crop it, it comes in for you. It brings it up to the front, and now you have a close-up, and it's clear, and it's the proper pixels. So go ahead and experiment with different background colors that will help your items to pop. If there's other wine glasses out there and everybody's using the same color and my wine glasses are the same, I'm actually going to experiment with some different background colors to make mine pop and stand out a bit more than those others. Now, excuse me. Now, eBay just made a rule. We're not allowed to put a hallmark or a, excuse me, a watermark. That's the word I'm looking for. We're not allowed to put watermarks on our photos anymore. And all that is your name or your logo. We're not, they're actually doing away with that. So don't do that. You also want to make sure that you have photos of any flaws or chips or cracks or stains or discoloration. Make sure that you include all of these types of photos. Now that pan at the top, I sold for almost $100. I can't remember the brand on it, but those do really well. And then the Capodimonte at the bottom, or the Lefton, looks like a Capodimonte, but it had a chip on the side. So I was also trying to show the biggest thing about these types of collectibles, you have to take your finger and rub them all around the edges to really get a feel if there is a chip, because I have shipped them in the past and even taken photos, and then people would say, oh, well, there's a chip on this, and I'd be like, where? I didn't see it. So we all make mistakes. But just to cover yourself even closer, you want to rub your fingers around all edges and do a good inspection, and even have a second set of eyes. Ask someone else to take a look too. Now you get 12 free photos with eBay, so take advantage of that. The more photos that you have, every photo is like money in the bank. Every photo helps sell your item. You want them clear, crisp, with good lighting. Now your lamp in the living room is not going to be good lighting unless you have an LED bright white bulb in it. But usually the living room lamps are yellow, and they give your photos a bad glare. You want to have a solid background. Smartphones are the absolute way to go. Also, iPads, smart pads, those types of things are the way to go for photos. And of course, don't forget to crop for close-ups. I do have a follow-up email that has video tutorials about taking good photos, and I will include that as well. Now let's get started with listing an item on eBay. Excuse me. There are basically 3 eBay listing styles. So the first one is called an auction, and you can start your bid as low as a penny. And now keep in mind, if you start an auction at a penny and you only get 1 bidder, well, guess what? I call that shipping with a smile, because you're going to be really upset that you only sold that for a penny. So you want to make sure that you still ship that and treat that just like someone who paid $1,000, because it is a binding contract and they are a customer that will leave you feedback. So you still want to treat it properly. Auction with a buy it now. This is where buyers have the option to either bid on it or buy the item. Fixed price is where you set the price. So like I could put those Ivanka Trump dresses up. I actually started them at $110, and then I added make an offer. Now the first couple did actually sell for $110, and then after that I had people make offers, and I don't think I sold any less than 60. I think I sold one for 60, and all the rest I sold for about $85. But it's nice to have that option for make an offer. Now there's also what's called a reserve auction. I am not a fan of reserves, but the opportunity is there if you do want to do this. So the way it works is, like, I sold a chopper motorcycle for $12,100, and I listed it as an auction, starting opening bid at $99.99, and it had a reserve of $12,000. Well, it was on for 10 days, and there actually became a bidding war on it. And I didn't know this till later, but it was Germany and Poland got in a bidding war, because I had will ship anywhere in the world, and the bidding got crazy on it, and it sat at $9,000 for almost the last few days. And I thought, oh, I'm not going to have a sale, because if it closed at $9,000, that means that I do not have to sell it. It's not a binding contract, because I had a reserve price on it that was not met. So long story short, a sniper from New York came in at the last second and dropped a chunk of change, and he won it for $12,100. So it sold. Now, if you're wondering what a sniper is, my husband's a sniper, and I know during this presentation we had a few snipers. But a sniper is someone who does not bid the entire time, and they sit like a snake in the grass, and they just wait, and they drop that bid at the last second before it ends. So they don't bid the entire time, they just wait, and they drop their chunk of change at the last few seconds of the auction, and they usually win. So sniping is good for some. I don't snipe. When I bid, I just put down the maximum I'm willing to pay, and then I let that sit, and then people come along and they bid it up, and if I win it, it was meant to be. If I don't, so what? So that's just how I am. Now research, again, helps us decide if we should do an auction or a fixed price, because I know some of you are thinking, well, how the heck will I know auctions, buy it now, fixed price, what do I do? By looking more things up and researching, you're going to follow success. So if those high prices worked for some, it may work for you as well. At least it increases your odds for success. Now here's the fast track to eBay listing. And it's, as I mentioned, sell one like this. So here we did we researched Starbucks coffee mugs, and say you have this mug, and you just click on sell one like this. And now what's going to happen is it's going to bring up the same category that that person used, which is your first step to listing an item, is choosing a category, and it's done for you. And then the next step is to create a title, and again, it's done for you. You've already created it. It's pulled it in from someone else. And then below that is a subtitle. I don't recommend subtitles because they're not searchable. And then below that is condition, new or used. So when you look at your title, again, as I mentioned, bait on the hook. Every word in that title should be a keyword. It's not a sentence. It doesn't even have to make sense. It's all about putting words in there that people would use to search. So for example, in this one, I may change it up a bit where I like the word new at the front of my title. I think it gets more attention with the eyes when you have new at the front. I also like to add the word cup and mug in my title, because one person may be putting in Starbucks cup, another person may be putting in Starbucks mug. So, and I would also like the color in there. They have the color blue. I think that's a good idea. But they have new set of two. Now set is enough. Two is enough. You could take the word of and use that for something else. So be sensible with your words. You don't want look beautiful, pretty coffee cup, because what's going to happen is you're wasting space. Who's going to type in beautiful, pretty, or lovely, or look? No one. No one is going to use words like that when they're doing research. So think like a shopper. If you were looking for this, what kind of words would you put in to research? Now the second fast track is to go to a current live listing. So maybe you've been doing some shopping and all of a sudden you discover, hey, I've got one of those. So all you have to do is click on Sell Now. And when you click on Sell Now, again, it'll bring in the same category that they used. It's already done for you. And then it'll bring in the title, already done for you. And again, you can adjust it. Now, the third way to list on eBay is to go to the top sell bar. You'll see at the top bar above your search is the word sell. And all you do is click on that. And when you click on sell, it will bring you to the page where eBay is going to say, what the heck do you want to sell? What do you want to sell? So you just type in a few words of something that you want to sell and click on Get Started. And when you do that, eBay will come now and say, well, we suggest you put it in this category or this category or this category. And they're going to make suggestions to you based on whatever words you put in that title. And you can take it or leave it. You can pick or choose which categories, or you can browse categories, or you can choose recently used categories if you've already listed some items in that category. No matter which way of those three styles that I've showed you, they all have the same basic information. And that is a category you're going to choose. You're going to choose a title. What kind of keywords are you going to put in that title? Is it new or is it used? You're going to add photos, which we're going to go into. We're also going to talk about your description box. What kind of price should we give our item? What kind of shipping shall we do? What kind of a return policy? There's your checklist. This is it, folks. This is your checklist for listing an item on eBay. If you can cover all of these things, then you're ready to get listing. That's it. There's no hidden tools. Now, back up a minute. Let's continue. We've got our category, our title. Is it new or used? Now we'll add photos. Next, now what I do is I list from my laptop. I have a desktop and a laptop, and I list my items directly from there. So I skip the photo part, and then I add my photos from my smartphone. And I know that's a whole nother presentation, but for now, just know that you can add them from your smartphone. And also, above the photos, there is what's called a condition box. Now, it's right below, is it new or used? Your condition box is a place where you provide any flaws or details that you need to stand out that's important. If it has a stain or a chip, anything that needs to be extra attention, receive extra attention, because this is what eBay will protect you if you have that information in that box. If the person contacts you and says, hey, you didn't tell me about the stain in this, and you can say, oh, yes, I did. It's in my condition box. And eBay will protect you. So you don't have to refund them or you don't have to do whatever. But if you do not have it written in there, and they write to you and say, hey, you didn't say there's a stain in this, and you say, oh, You're right, I didn't. So now you're at fault, and you're going to have to give them a refund or have them ship it back and pay for return shipping. So keep that in mind. That's very important. Next, you're going to add photos. And again, if you added them from your phone, you can return to this page and you can actually edit them. Or if they're in your computer and you're using, actually there are Wi-Fi, I don't want to overwhelm you, but there are Wi-Fi tools that will bring them in from your phone to your computer. And when you do this, or editing them from your laptop or desktop, you can notice at the bottom that all the photos have a crop tool. So if you don't know how to crop your photos on your phone or your camera or your computer, no worries, because eBay has these built-in tools for you once you pull them in. Now this is a wheelchair I sold. I shipped it, well, I didn't ship it. They actually came and picked it up. But I had will ship anywhere in the world. Buyer makes arrangement for shipping. And they did. They came from Tennessee, I believe it was. And they were a museum there. And I picked this up at a yard sale for $10, and I sold it for almost $300. Now, again, you've got your crop tool at the bottom. You've got your rotate. This other symbol is rotate. And then next to that is brighten. And you can do all this within eBay. And if you make a mistake, just delete them. No worries. Start over. Whoops. Now let's talk about the description box. We've got our categories, our title, we've got all this in. Now it's time to add the description. Bottom line, describe the item. And you want to keep it short, easy to read, so that you can understand everything. And it's left margin, number 18 font. I'm old now, so I like to have everything big and bold in my face versus little tiny font that I have to pinch my phone and try and read, and I won't shop from those people. Or if the listing goes on and on and on and on, and it's got all of these rules and regulations, then I won't shop from them because there's too much information. I think I need an attorney, or I think that there's some hidden scary thing in there, so I won't shop. So you want to keep everything simple. Just describe the item. Use black lettering. Actually, what I like to do is I'll type in a few words, like 5 words, and then hit the enter key, and type in about 6 words, hit the enter key, and so on. And you think, why would she do that? Well, the thing is, 90%, I mean, the percentage is huge. It might not be 90, but the percentage is right up there huge for the amount of people that are shopping on their smartphones or tablets. So you want to make sure that it's easy for them to read. And when you have this page filled with words and they have to scroll all over the page, then it's not so easy. You want to include flaws. Now don't forget, as I mentioned, in the condition box and in your description box, all I do is type it in my condition box, and then I copy and paste it and add it to the description box so I don't forget. You want to have a good vibe on your listing. That's the bottom line. Don't be negative. Don't say, oh, I only ship on Tuesday because grandma comes on Wednesday, or I have to take the dogs to the sitter or the kids or whatever. Don't tell me your life. Don't have anything, don't put in there, if you have a problem with my item, then don't leave me bad feedback. Contact me right away. I will fix it. Give me a chance to fix it. I saw someone have a write-up like that, and I did not want to shop from them because I was like, wow, something's wrong. So I did not want to shop with them. So have a good, happy vibe. When people come to your listing, you want them to be happy and shop with you. You can see examples by going directly to my eBay store. It's called Ask Danna. If you type in askdanna.com, I have that URL just pointing right to my eBay store. And that'll go look at any of my listings because I live by this rule. I don't just preach it. Okay, now that we have all that information, we're going to decide, do we want to do an auction or do we want to do a fixed price? And the great thing is, when you're brand new especially, eBay has little helpful tips that are going to pop up and you can either accept them or close them. Like here it says start your auction at 99 cents, and they're going to make little suggestions, and you can take or leave what they suggest based on your research. If you have an auction, or if you want to switch that to a fixed price, just click on that drop down and it'll change to fixed price. We're going to do an auction, and you put in your starting price. If you do an auction, you can also add that buy it now. So you would click the button, the check the box, and then you're going to decide how many days do you want your auction to run. Do you want to do a 1 day, a 3 day, 5 day, 7 day, 10 day? And again, it's going to be based on your research. If you do 1 day or 3 day, they're actually going to charge you an additional $1. If you do a 5 day or a 7 day, it's free. And if you do a 10 day, it's 40 cents. Now, I don't stress too much about the days of the week unless I'm going to be gone, or if I have a high-end item like a ham radio or a chopper motorcycle, excuse me, or a Louis Vuitton that I'm running on auction, I will start it about 2 or 3 in the afternoon on a Thursday, and then I'll choose a 10-day auction. And that way it'll give me 2 weekends, and it'll end on a Sunday. Whatever time of day you start it, that's the time of day that it'll end. So it'll end on a Sunday about 2 or 3 in the afternoon. This gives me a little bit more added exposure, and I like 2 or 3 in the afternoon because it's early enough for everybody in the country and everybody in the world, because it shows up, it's still evening, early evening in the UK and different parts of the world. You can also schedule your listings. They do charge 10 cents for that. And to schedule it, it's pretty simple. So like say you want to go through all of this process, but you're going to be out of town for a while, so you can adjust that it won't start until such and such date and such time. Just keep in mind that everything on eBay is Pacific Standard Time, so you might have to adjust that according to your location. Now your next choice is you're going to let eBay know how are you going to ship it. Now if you offer free shipping, of course it's more attractive, so you just kind of figure that in as you're deciding on your price. And eBay again will make suggestions on prices for shipping. And there's also a place for you where it's going to ask international shipping. Now I suggest you say no to international shipping, but say yes to eBay's global shipping program. And it makes life really easy, and plus it gives you more exposure. So your item will show up in 69 countries, and they're adding more all the time. And what happens is your item will show up in all of these countries, and now no matter where they're at, they come in, they buy your item, and you are going to package it up with an address to Kentucky in America. So you're going to, even though someone in Australia just bought your product, you don't know that. You're just going to box it up, and they're going to give you a Kentucky address. You're going to ship it to Kentucky, and it's going to cost you just the same. There's no customs forms. There's no crazy international shipping. You just ship it to Kentucky, and then eBay ships it for you. So eBay has become your fulfillment center. And I'm very thankful because it makes my life so much easier. It gives me more exposure. I make more sales. I'm shipping my items in other countries, and I'm protected. So if the item is lost, eBay protects us. They don't take money from us. They will refund the buyer, and it doesn't come out of my PayPal account, so that's the main thing. They can't leave you negative feedback either about shipping. So say yes to global shipping. Now, to be successful on eBay, you're going to need a shipping scale. And guess what? The bathroom scale is not a shipping scale. Why? Because it lies. It lies terribly. Mine does. So you have to get a good shipping scale. My husband bought me a beautiful one for our wedding anniversary, and he bought it at his favorite toy store called Harbor Freight. Now I know another great place you can buy one. Hello, eBay. Just do a search, lowest price first, shipping scale, 70 pounds, 70 lb, and that's the best you know, best way to find one. And you're also going to need some good measuring tape. And I'm a firm believer in measuring tape from Joann Fabrics or the seamstress. Grandma's measuring tape is going to be accurate. And also, you're going to choose what kind of shipping. Now, if you're selling furniture, which I know some of you want to sell furniture. I love selling furniture. You just put, we'll ship anywhere in the world, buyer makes arrangement for shipping, and then you choose on type, you choose freight. Now, for our type of shipping, just average items, just choose package or thick envelope. That's all you need to worry about. And you'll see there's also a place for you to offer local pickup only. I do not recommend using that, because even if you have a couch, or I sold a go-kart, and a gentleman from Atlanta came to Ocala, Florida, where I live, to pick it up, he didn't mind driving over here. Had I chosen local pickup only, it would not show up throughout the country. And if somebody really wants your item, they will make arrangements. I sold a car to a man in Canada, and it made no sense to me because it was like a common Honda Civic, and I thought, what, they have no cars there? Plus he's closer to Detroit for cars. But anyhow, he bought the car, and he sent a car hauler to my home and picked it up. And long story short, he bought it because his daughter had the exact identical car. They lived on a farm, and he wanted to give that car back to her. So it had a special meaning. Just goes to show, had I put local pickup only, would it have showed up? I don't know. But I want to increase my odds. So do not choose local pickup only. You could have it as a second choice, that people, if you don't mind people coming to your house, you can choose local pickup, but you want to have a shipping choice first. And when you're choosing a shipping choice, it can be very overwhelming. So I'm going to make your life really easy right now to get yourself listed. So just go to Economy Services and choose USPS Parcel Select Ground, and that'll get the ball rolling for you. Now, this isn't in stone. This is an actual shipping day. You may ship differently. And this actually presentation does not go into great shipping details. But I'm just going to tell you to choose this to get your item listed, USPS Parcel Select Ground, just to get your item listed. Now, on shipping day, I'm probably going to ship priority mail, and that will be a different webinar. All right, now, next you're going to choose, you're going to put your, how people are going to pay you. There's my PayPal email if you want to send me money. It's Danna@powersellingmom.com is my PayPal email address. You put that in. You put the zip code of your item location. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay. The zip code of your item location, your handling time. Now, if you choose one business day, that means, hello, you got to ship it one business day. So business day, if it's Friday at 2 o'clock and they've purchased your item and you have 1 day handling time, it's okay that you don't ship it till Monday, because Saturday is not a business day. Now, I still ship on Saturdays, but it's up to you. Next, you're going to need to accept returns. I think return exception is very important. It's kind of makes you look shady if you don't accept returns. Very few and far have I had returns. Now, if you describe your item properly, you will not have returns. Now, if you have clothing and they get your item and it just don't fit and they want to return it, then you can have a restocking fee. And so I added a 20% restocking fee so that people will think twice if they're thinking about wearing it on the weekend and then returning it next week. So they're going to have to pay a 20% restocking fee, and eBay automatically deducts that from the refund. So it works out great. Again, returns accepted is a good deal. Now, of course, if it's electronic, or, you know, there are exceptions to the rule. Now you're going to preview it, save it for later, or list it. Now, we just went through the entire step-by-step process, starting with category. And believe me, when you're looking at your page, it's going to fly by. It's really fast. And then eBay will have little suggestions for you. But the good news is nothing's in stone. Nothing's going to happen until you click that button that says list it. Then it'll go live. Otherwise, you can preview it. You can save it for later. But the good news is that I can tell you is it won't blow up. So you won't blow up eBay, or you won't blow up your computer if you go through this process. And don't be afraid to click and type things in. You can save it for later. You can actually delete it. So you can go to eBay right now and start searching Starbucks coffee mug just for fun and just practice going through the system. And you can do it again. Save it for later, do it again, you can delete it. The main thing is that you practice and have fun until you are ready to click that button that says list it and have it go live. Now quickly, let's just talk about the eBay fees. I'll touch on these. There's 3 basic fees. You have an insertion fee, a final value fee, and a PayPal fee. Now the insertion fees are free if you do an auction. So eBay will give you 50 to 100 listings, auctions per month, depending on your format and category, but mostly they're free, as long as it's an auction. Now eBay runs specials all the time. I had an offer not long ago for 1,200 free listings on auction, and believe me, my little finger, my fat fingers were numb from typing, because I take advantage of it when they run these specials. But new sellers always get free listings. And then you can also add that buy it now to that auction, and there will be no additional fee as well. So the person can either bid on it or they can buy it. Now they do charge, if you list those dresses for $49.99, that's called a fixed price, and it'll cost you 30 cents to list each dress. If you have a book or media, VHS videotapes, record albums, it'll cost you 10 cents to list those. Now when you list an item, and say you have 50 Ivanka Trump dresses and they're all a size 10, and you're listing them at $49.99, you'll still do one listing and have quantity 50, and you'll only pay 30 cents. eBay will not charge you per item when you use quantity. Your final value fee is about 10%. So that means whatever the item closes at, what it sells for, it's roughly 10% of the sale. And that 10% also includes shipping. So if you charged, I tend to charge $8 to ship shoes because I ship them in a flat rate legal envelope. Yes, it's true. If it fits, it ships. And when I put them in that envelope, I know it's going to cost me under, we'll say, $6.25, and I charge $8. And then I'm protected because I know it's going to fit in that envelope. So if I charge $8 and the item sold for $8, so $16, now I'm going to pay 10% of $16. So when you charge a fee for shipping, that grand total is part of your sale. There's also a PayPal fee, and the PayPal fee is 2.9% per item plus 30 cents per transaction, which is the same as a merchant account. Back in the day, I used to have a merchant account, and you had to, I would get charged for chargebacks, I would get charged for different things, and you don't get charged like that on PayPal, so that's good. Now the basic tip to remember, and this is how I live my life, is by the 15% average. So that means that if I'm out product sourcing, or I'm shopping at Ross, or I'm wherever thinking about buying something at the thrift store, then when I'm doing my completed listing search or my sold search, I will actually add, okay, I can make this X amount of dollars, it's going to cost me X amount of dollars to buy the item, and it's going to roughly be about 15% in eBay fees, PayPal. So what's my profit margin? How's that looking? My fees don't generally run 15%, but I live by that rule just to be safe. Now the sweetest sound in the world is when your cell phone, your smartphone goes ka-ching. Cha-ching. And that means that you just sold something. Or you'll also get an email. So don't worry that how will you know if you sold something? There's several ways that you'll get notices. You can't miss it. And the other way is not only did you make a sale, but you wait for that notice from PayPal. So it's good when they're back to back. Okay, I hear the cha-ching, but let me hear that you got money from PayPal. And then it's time to ship. Now, I do not go into great detail because this is only, this presentation actually was 45 minutes to an hour with questions. And when I do these workshops live at the post office, we have 2 hours, and I go into more detail about shipping. We are talking about running another webinar on shipping. But for now, I'm going to tell you quickly, don't be afraid of shipping, because the USPS has awesome free shipping supplies. And if it fits, it ships, like I mentioned. I suggest you just go to USPS.com, order yourself some free boxes. They don't charge you for shipping. And they don't charge you for their boxes as long as they're priority or express. So go ahead and go to the site, set up an account, it's free, and then pick and choose some boxes. In my follow-up email, I actually have a checklist of my favorite boxes, and you're welcome to go through that. Excuse me. So as I mentioned, if it fits, it ships. So if you order those flat rate boxes and your item fits in it, you already know how much shipping is going to be. So you can use that as your base. Now, you can also click on print shipping label. So not only will you get a notice that it's time to ship, but now it's time for you to print your label. And it's pretty easy. You just click the button, print shipping label, and you print it out on an 8.5 by 11 paper. You cut it out, you paste it on your package, tape it on your package, put tape around all the edges. Don't put tape over the barcodes because that may affect scanning process. It will automatically take the money for the stamp out of your PayPal account, so it's prepaid. And then you can order a pickup. The post office will come directly to your home and pick it up. As long as you order a pickup, it's free. Or you can drop it off. Or what I do is I put my flag up on my mailbox, and I have a little note in there that says item on bench or knock on door. That's for the sub, because my mail carrier knows me pretty well. She backs up the truck and picks up all the stuff off the bench. And also, side note, look after your mail carrier at holiday time. eBay in a snapshot, over 110 million items are available worldwide, over 90 million active users worldwide, approximately 7 million items are added every day, and a pair of shoes, cha-ching, sells every 8 seconds. A motor part or accessory sells every second. A cell phone every 6 seconds, and a car, crazy, every 90 seconds. One thing they don't mention is a forklift sells every 4 hours on eBay. My motto is there's plenty of eBay for us all to be blessed and prosper. And I'm a firm believer in that. You can take eBay any direction you want. You start by selling some things from around the house, get the flow of it, and you can sell things for friends, sell items for friends. Make sure you have a contract, though. You could make a living, or you could just do it as a hobby. It's totally up to you. You can take it any direction. I like to use my husband as an example because he is from Belfast, Northern Ireland. He sells, well, he never used to sell on eBay. He had a seal coating blacktop commercial business for 30 years. And he retired, and of course he has a great eBay coach. And I taught him how to research. He still types with a couple fingers, but that's okay because he knows how to research, and he's very successful on eBay because of this. And you can do this where you can subscribe. Do a Google search for estate sale Ocala, or estate sale Gainesville, or estate sale The Villages, Orlando, whatever area you're from. Put in those keywords in Google, and then find people who are running estate sales, and then subscribe to their newsletters. So my husband Jimmy, he did this, and we have Sharon in Ocala that does her local estate sales, and he subscribed to her newsletter. So she sent out a newsletter saying, had all these photos of camera equipment. Well, my husband knows nothing about camera equipment, but he knows how to research on eBay. So he started looking up each camera and lens on eBay. And so she was doing a silent auction on this type of listing. So he made an offer of $2,500 on her box lot of camera equipment. Well, long story short, someone else won, but a couple days go by. She emails him and says, hey, do you have the money? Because the high bidder was $4,000. He had no money. The next guy had no money. And what about you? And he said, yes, I have money. So he went and picked up his camera equipment. The first lens he sold on eBay for $2,500. So he made his money in the first item. He did $17,000 the first month with this camera equipment. And supposedly, he says, he did $40,000 in 3 months. And he probably did more than that, but he didn't want to tell me. So I don't know. The bottom line is I like to use him as an example because he's my proof in the pudding that this works. You just learn to research your product and you can be successful on eBay. Now go do some shopping. Go look for those socks, those things that you need, things from around the house. We even get chlorine tablets for our pool on eBay. Here's the phone number, 1-866-540-3229. And if you forget, just go to any Google page and type in eBay phone number. And you'll find there's a phone number for technical support, customer service as well. Now, the good thing is you can call eBay every day. You can call them every 10 minutes. It's free. So if you're trying to list something and you're like, oh, I don't understand this, call them. They'll walk you through it. If you get stuck with how to print your label, call them. They'll walk you through it. Any help that you need, they are there for you. Here's some more numbers for you. 167 million active members. The price, it went up. I forgot to pull the other one. So a fragrance sells every 2 seconds, an action figure every 10 seconds, a Lego every 5 seconds, and a car every 2 minutes. But it's crazy. That's the bottom line. You have lots of opportunity. So thank you so much for joining me today. You can, if you need to get a hold of me, just go to my website at powersellingmom.com, and if you would like to jump on a phone call, there is a place for you to click on score, and it's free. We can schedule a phone call together as long as you have me as a mentor. So just go to midfloridascore.org and do a search for mentors, and you can put my name in there and request me, or there's tons of other mentors that have all kinds of knowledge. The great thing about our community at SCORE is there's knowledge on everything. There's people that are experts at creating business plans. I'm the eBay expert. There's experts on everything from HR to taxes. Again, thank you, and until next time, I'm Danna Crawford. Have an awesome eBay selling day. Bye.